Okay, this is for your notes 2.5.2. I want to point out the double angle formulas that are at the top of the page. There are 3 formulas to choose from for cosine 2x. Okay, we're going to start with the first problem. I'm going to substitute for sine 2x. That's going to be 2 sine x, cosine x, sine x, equals cosine x. Okay, I'm going to multiply sine x times sine x. I get sine x squared. Move the cosine x over. Factor out the cosine x. Okay, now that it's factored, I'm going to set each factor equal to 0. Now I'm going to solve. X equals cosine inverse of 0. So that means x is pi over 2, or 3 pi over 2, using my unit circle. Okay, I'm going to solve the other factor. 2 sine squared x equals 1. Sine squared x equals a half. Square root both sides. Sine x equals plus or minus square root of a half. Simplifying by multiplying numerator and denominator by 2 under the radical. Sine x simplifies to plus or minus square root of 2 over 2. So x equals sine inverse plus or minus square root of 2 over 2. So x equals pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4. I suggest you pause the video, make sure you have this in your notes. Problem B. Okay, I'm going to substitute for cosine 2x. Since I already have a sine x, I'm going to use 1 minus 2 sine squared x plus sine x equals 0. Moving everything to the right so I can eliminate the negative sign on the squared term. I get 0 equals 2 sine squared x minus sine x minus 1 equals 0. Okay, factoring. I would suggest you use the x factor. So I have negative 2 and negative 1. So that makes that negative 2 and 1. Divide both of those by the leading coefficient, which is 2. So now I can factor this. 0 equals sine x minus 1, 2 sine x plus 1. Okay. Set each factor equal to 0 and solve. Second factor. So x equals 7 pi over 6 or 11 pi over 6. I suggest you pause the video, look this over, make sure you have it in your notes. Problem C on the back of the page. You need to take this expression and see which one this most closely relates to. It looks like that this relates to the third equation on the other side. So we're going to have to figure out a way to rewrite this. I notice I can factor out a 3. And what's inside the parentheses matches cosine 2x. So this becomes 3 cosine 2x. Once again, I suggest you pause the video and make sure you have this in your notes. Okay, now we're going to find sine 2x, sine 2u, cosine 2u, and tangent 2u. First thing you're going to need to do is draw an axis. Place the triangle in the right quadrant. The name of my angle is u. I'm going to write that in the corner. This is a right triangle. I know that cosine is negative 2/3. Adjacent over hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is never negative, so I know that the adjacent side has to be negative. Now I need to find the third side. So z squared plus negative 2 squared equals 3 squared. So z squared is 9 minus 4. Z squared equals 5. So z equals plus or minus square root of 5. I know it has to be positive square root of 5 because we're going up. Okay, so that starts off the problem. Now I need to find sine 2u. So I know that that's cosine u. 2 cosine u sine u. So that's going to be 2 times negative 2/3 times sine u, which is square root of 5 over 3. Multiplying this out, I get negative 4 square root of 5 over 9. Cosine 2u. I'm going to use the formula 2 cosine squared u minus 1, but you can use any formula. Any will work in this case. So we have 2 times negative 2/3 squared minus 1. I have 2 times 4/9 minus 1, 8/9 minus 1, 8/9 minus 9/9 gives me negative 1/9. Okay, I suggest you pause the video, make sure you have this in your notes. Now I'm going to find tan 2u. Tan 2u equals 2 tan u minus tan squared u. Okay, looking at your triangle, you know that tangent is opposite over adjacent. So that means it's going to be square root of 5 over negative 2. So tan 2u equals 2 times square root of 5 over negative 2 over 1 minus square root of 5 over negative 2 quantity squared. So that's going to become negative square root of 5 over 1 minus 5 over 4. Negative square root of 5, 4 over 4, minus 5 over 4 gives me negative square root of 5 over negative 1/4. multiplying by -4, we find out that it is 4 square root of 5. Okay, I suggest you pause the video, get this in your notes, and then you may start on your assignment.